Wear Home Q&A video number 1, the answers. Try to cheese it up a little bit for the online audience. I just can't help it. So anyway, we'll launch right in. Why fucking around? Let's just go ahead and get to it. Torque me now, ass. I've been stretching my ears for about 6 years now, and people have said that if you downsize and stretch back up, that blowout, double lobe, etc. will disappear or return to its natural state. Is that true, or do they stay forever? I'm at 1 5/8, goal size 2 inches. Is it still safe to stretch? Well, you know, I've been told that too, but in my experience, you know, once you blow out, you're kind of stuck. You kind of have to downsize, massage the tissue back into the pierce, you know, like the fistula back into the piercing. Rub them down every day with jojoba. Hopefully they'll thicken up. In extreme cases, though, about the only thing you can really do is, you know, restructure the ear. Is it still safe to stretch? And if you're already blown out, I don't know. It'd be tough. I'd have to look at it individually to be able to tell. Send me some pictures to jc@pangeapiercing.com and I'll give you my honest opinion. My Big Holes asks, can you tell me how to take care of wooden jewelry, and what in your opinion is your favorite piercing? Well, of course I can tell you how to take care of wood jewelry. About once a month, you want to wash them down lightly with some natural soap and water. Natural meaning not chemical, not meaning Dial or soft soap or anything antibacterial. I like to use Dr. Bronner's. And then you're going to want to dry them off, and oil them down with like jojoba or vitamin E. I think jojoba is the best though. That's what I've always used and recommended. Periodically, after a while, the grain will raise up on a lot of wood plugs you're going to find, and when that happens, slightly sand them with 600 grit until they're smooth, and then follow that with 800 grit, then 1000, 1200, 2000, and then lightly buff with a soft cloth and give them a little bit of that jojoba on the surface to kind of finish them off a little bit. What, in my opinion, is my favorite piercing, my favorite single piercing to do, is the Doth. This guy right here in your ear. Love doing those. The Vince D2000 says, if I'm stuck in the middle of nowhere with only 3 tools, what would they be? Well, I think I'd probably want a sharp knife, an AK-47, probably a shovel. At least that would be the simple tool answer. If I was going to say complex tools, I'd probably want a monster truck, a helicopter, and an airplane. They are tools after all. Don't look at me, I didn't make the rules. AKA Beast asks, so my ears are pierced at 0 gauge and I'm looking for another job. Will I be judged differently than someone who isn't? And I say, of course you will. But that can be a good thing too. Say you're trying to get a job in the music industry or something high tech, then you might be thought of as cooler, hipper, smarter than somebody who isn't pierced. Possibly somebody who thinks outside the box. You never know. Now, if you're trying to get a job at, you know, a bank or something, then they're probably going to think that you're some howling at the fucking moon lunatic and not to be trusted around money, which might be the case too, because maybe you're the type of guy who has his ears pierced. Maybe you know, have sex with people and party, wake up with hangovers, possibly engage in risky activities. See, because that's, I think, what really gets people to judge or whatever, is they clearly see that, oh, hey, this is something that's painful, something that's risky, and you're the type of person that will engage in that. Now, say you're working at a skydive place, then that'll totally work in your favor. You know, if you're trying to get a job on Wall Street, maybe not. I don't know. So I guess it's all going to kind of depend on the position that you're actually in. James Vision asks, what is your favorite type of jewelry to wear in your ears? And oh, that's an easy one. That would be these happy guys right here. that I made myself. 1.06 carats of VS Clarity G coloration diamonds, and enough gold that I forget exactly how much they are. They're perfectly balanced. They don't flop forward at all. They don't fall out of my ears. They don't require O-rings on the back to hold them in place. They're super comfortable. They're easy to insert. They're easy to remove. I really can't ask for anything better. I mean, they're seriously like the perfect plugs for me. Plus, it's serious adult jewelry. I find that people take me a little more seriously when I wear fine quality jewelry than if I just wear some old plain stainless bullshit. Hardcore Drummer A7X asks, if you could bring one person back from the dead, who would it be? Also, if you could have one car of the entire world, what would it be? Okay, well, one person back from the dead, Nikola Tesla. Pretty simple. I mean, you know, they'd probably assassinate him though. For one car out of the entire world, whew. If we're talking about like old production, like something out of date, I'd probably say the Bugatti Type 37 Adelante. Specifically the one that Ralph Lauren owns. It's exquisite, I would say. After that, I'd probably say something like a Bugatti Veyron, or maybe a Lamborghini, not the Aventador, what's the, oh, the one that Ramzan Kadyrov has. The Reventon, yes. Nifty, pretty nifty. But then at the same time, that poses a really interesting question. If you have this one-of-a-kind, super rare, incredibly expensive thing, piece of art, can you really realistically get out and beat the fucking piss out of it and actually, you know, go park it and drive it and enjoy it and stuff? No, you really can't. So, I would say that the best car, the one car that I would have, motherfuckers! This is what happens when you have the warehome down by the airport. Like a vault. Anyway, back to the whole thing about cars. I would say that the E30 BMW is a fine choice. Mostly because perfectly neutral handling, rear wheel drive, infinitely customizable, easy to work on, and they don't attract so much attention or look so expensive that you're gonna get fucked with. And it's also a nice enough car to where you can show up and not feel like a chump. So Lion's Eye 66 Sid asks, hey JC, I'm looking for advice. I've been making wood and organic plugs for some time now and things are going great. Everything has been word of mouth locally. What would be the best way to expand, advertise, and promote myself via social media? And goes on and on and on. All right, well, I'll say this. With body jewelry, the thing is word of mouth is how it sells. You know, you can get out there, there's a million people pounding it out on social media and, you know, and advertising the shit out of their products and stuff like that. And they might have a certain amount of success. But what really does it is people trying your products and liking your products and having them work for people. If influential piercers in the community see your product and it's of superior quality, they'll tell people themselves. Brandon Danger's a good example. Guy doesn't advertise, guy doesn't have a website, dude doesn't have, I mean, literally does nothing. Most people have never heard of him, but it doesn't matter because it keeps him so busy what he does do, you know, that I don't think he really needs the help or anything trying to expand the empire. It expands on its own. And that brings us over to Roger Rend 08 asks, where do you see your business in the next 12 months? And what is your motivation for bringing piercing to the next level? And I would say thank you for thinking that I'm trying to take piercing to the next level. I don't really think I'm capable of taking piercing to the next level, actually. I think it's more of a deal that I can help, you know, spread some information, help spread some knowledge, help people that, you know, want to get piercings, get better ones, and help them support the people in the community that deserve their support you know, so rather than try to legislate out a bunch of hacks, I want to try to educate the hacks out of business to where it's like, you know, to where the public won't be fooled by them, and where they'll demand better. And you know, that's my motivation. Where do I see my business in the next 12 months? Well, it kind of depends on the business you're talking about. If you're talking about like the piercing shop, then, you know, honestly, I pretty well see it pretty much as it is right now. I mean, we already pretty much in our local area, everybody pretty well knows this as it is, and they're either going to come here or not. I look at my business more as the business of, you know, making online videos, because, you know, as a piercer and as a piercing shop, you're somewhat limited to the amount of income you can actually get. However, though, people like Epic Mealtime, Ray William Johnson, Philip DeFranco and the like are making, seriously, millions of dollars on YouTube annually. Now, that's more where I see my business. I see me still hammering it out, trying to, you know, get more viewership, get more subscribers, you know, work with advertisers, maybe get some sponsorship from some people. I'll never take money from a body piercing related company at all. You know, that I can't poison my opinion by accepting the money. However, though, insurance companies or energy companies or, you know, automobile manufacturers or what have you, I don't care. If you're an advertiser, go ahead and get in touch with me. You never know, man. I might be willing to promote your product or service, you know, in a nice subtle fashion where it's not obtrusive, and plug into an audience that actually gives a shit and is really engaged and all that. That's where I see myself then. Yeah, I'm hoping that by then I'm doing the, you know, 1 million views a week, you know, like a baby Epic Mealtime, because 1 million views is worth about $2,000 in YouTube money. That's what's up. And then see, I'd like to see what $2,000 a week could do for me as far as my filmmaking. You know, I'd love to be able to cross over and actually be a legitimate film or TV star. But that goes into a later question. Well, so earlier there was a question that kind of plays in, well, I shouldn't say that. The answer to this one kind of ties into the last one. Grady Style asks, when did I want to know that I wanted to be a pro piercer? And did I have any other backup plans as a career? And I guess I first decided I wanted to be a pro piercer when I was about 19. I'd been doing piercings for a little while before that, just on a kind of amateur basis, mostly because I kind of got roped into it. My dad was a funeral director, and I had access to all the necessary stuff to make it happen back in the 80s, so I was in a unique position amongst people in my hometown. Now, as far as, you know, when I was 19, I found out that, yeah, you could make a living doing this, and it's like, whoa, really? So I kind of pursued it more seriously. Now, as far as backup careers, well, I honestly, like I said, I never really intended to do this. I kind of just fell into it. Now, as far as what I really wanted to do, strangely enough, I wanted to be more of like a movie or TV personality, possibly a presenter of some show, talk show host, game show host, movie star, something like that. You know, so I guess that's part of what I'm doing with this is, you know, with the whole Modified World web series, is it's a way for me to be able to do like a film and TV production, only do it over a subject that I know and that I already have an audience for. So Vampire Siren 2 asks, what is my favorite way to hang out with friends, and what qualities do I have that makes me a good friend? She adds, greetings from Ireland. Mwah. And I say, well, greetings back to Ireland. And my favorite way to hang out with friends, largely over completely legal smoking accessories and substances. Completely legal though, and above board. As far as what qualities do I have that make me a good friend? I'm honest to a fault. I don't give away my friendship easily. Can be kind of funny sometimes. And I pay my own way, and I never expect anything from anybody for free. I figure that the best deals in life are when both people or both parties come away feeling like they did good. So I have a tendency to look at everything in life as like a business transaction. You know, what do you get for what did you have to give? And with friends too, I would say, you know, if I have to give more than I feel like I get in return, then I'm probably not going to be friends with y'all for very long. But if it's a nice quid pro quo, then, you know, I try to give back as much as I receive, if not more, because I certainly would not want to look amiss or be considered like, I don't know, a bad friend, or somebody that is always mooching or coming around with their hand out, or a sad story or something like that, because nobody wants to hear that shit. People want to hear positive stuff, and people want to affiliate with winners. I'll tell you this, you show me the 5 people you hang out with the most, and I'll tell you exactly what type of person you are, because we are a product of the 5 people that we hang out with the most. That's why I try to always associate myself with winners instead of losers, because loser rubs off, so does winner. You know, if your life sucks and you wanted to try to change it, one of the first things you can do is get new friends, or change your situation in some way, shape, or form. You know, maybe the problem isn't your friends. Maybe it's you and your fucking opinion about it, or your mindset. Because if you just sit around and expect something good to happen to you, you'll get old before something happens. Sorry, I'm painting my nails at the same time. It's so pretty though. Amanda Lee 84 asks, so what's the story behind the Ware Home? Well, I guess the Ware Home is just it's a 4,000 square foot warehouse down in an anonymous industrial park that I live and work in. I use it as studio space. A couple of the principles of the Modified World show I also stay and work here. We have enough room for martial arts classes, once a month suspension shows, building cars and motorcycles, and after 5 o'clock it's pretty much a ghost town around these parts. So we get to do hooligan shit without actually putting people at risk or offending anybody or any of that type of stuff. Kelsey MG13 asks, what's the sexiest place for a girl to get a piercing? And what about a tattoo? And I say, well, the sexiest place for a girl to get a piercing is Pangea piercing. All kidding aside, it all depends on the girl, you know. I mean, what looks sexy on somebody might not look sexy on somebody else. Same thing with the tattoo. That said, who doesn't like the little naughty pieces that the general public never gets to see until one is in their birthday suit? Who doesn't like that? Come on, I know I do. That's right. Kevin Keener asks, so what was my first piercing performed in a professional setting? And that one I actually can answer. That would be a rook piercing, and I actually did it. My first one in a professional setting was actually at Fakir's Intensives out in California in '94, and I actually had Eric fucking Dakota over my shoulder watching me. And you want to talk about scary? I was scared to shit because I was actually piercing another piercer, a fellow who named Shane, who was out of Seattle. And so yeah, I was shaking like a homemade spaceship. But wound up actually working out well. As far as like the first one that I did at like a shop that I worked at, that would have been a tongue, actually. Yeah, it was a tongue, the owner's buddy. I just wanted to make sure that I could actually do it. Once again, pretty nerve-wracking, but at the same time, must have done well because I got the job. Fear Bookworm asks, is there a certain number of piercings that it's a good idea to get at one time? Because there's usually a discount for people getting multiple piercings at once, and I say I don't like doing more than 4 on people at any one time. It's usually a lot for folks to heal all at once, so we try to minimize that. So maybe if they just got a big tattoo, you might only do 2 or 3 on them, because you don't want to give them too much and overwhelm their immune system. Maddie Malice asks, well, what's the best way to make waffles? She was thinking about crumbling up some bacon and possibly some chocolate chips in the batter and making chocolate bacon pancakes or waffles, I guess. Maybe Pangea Mealtime could tackle the whole situation. And I say, that's a good question. What is the best way to make waffles? I say the best way to make waffles is to have somebody else do it for you. The last question I'm going to answer on this video is from Harpsichord Seal, who asks, what jobs have you had other than piercing? And that's a good one. I've done a whole grip of crap. I was an on-air personality for a small radio station in my hometown. I've mowed yards. I've fried chicken and worked at pizza joints. God, what else? I worked as a barista in a coffee shop. I was the rod man on a surveying crew for a while. What else? Male stripper for about 8 months. Ran a nutrition store in the mall. What else? Holy smokes. I laid tile for like 6 years. This was my old van that I laid tile out of. I set up rock and roll shows, did the, moved cases, set up stages, set up speakers, set up lights, did lots and lots and lots. I couldn't even tell you all the bands that I've seen. What else? Did tattoos in Oklahoma completely illegally before the law was passed or anything like that, because I was the only person that anybody out there knew how to do a tattoo without giving somebody hepatitis. Yeah, but you name it, I've had all kinds of crappy jobs. Worked in the oil field on a rig-up truck, tearing down oil rigs after they were done drilling. No joke. Unlicensed pharmacist. Back when I was much, much younger, actually wound up, that's on my record actually too. I wound up getting in a bit of trouble for all that stuff, and I don't recommend it, kids. And now, piercer / YouTube filmmaker / jewelry maker designer. And that's basically it. So hey, I guess if you watched all the way to the end of this, you must be like either a hell of a stalker or a super fan, or possibly my mom. So hi, Mom. Anyway, thanks for asking your questions. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for watching and all that stuff. And of course, keep commenting. Keep letting me know what I need to be doing to entertain the masses. And I'll see you next time. Subscribe to the Warehome and subscribe to Pangea Piercing.